Hello and welcome back to CrestVahllen D&D The Argent Flame. I'm your not-so-humble Dungeon Master TJ, and I have the distinct pleasure of being joined by...
I'm Adam. I play Boots. I am now officially Mad Scientist.
I really just took a bite of food. Anyway, I'm Sokka, or Theo. I play Sokka, and I'm not gonna lie, that tidal wave was pretty radical.
Yes. Well done.
I'm Kevin. I play Cole. And Log, why didn't you just reach for my damn hand?
I was confused.
Yeah.
I'm Ken. I play Argus Firebeard. And parenting tip number 3, always confirm before letting strangers into your house. Always confirm identities before letting strangers into your house.
Yes, for real life and in game.
Yes. I'm Noelle. I play Trishani Ankmut, and, out of the depths of madness, but into the mage's frying pan, I see. Okay.
I'm Cody, and I play Log jamming. Remember, kids, always ask for consent before fingering or fisting your friends.
Oh my god. In case you haven't realized yet, this is not children friendly. It's not a family podcast. Feel free to listen to it with your family, but you have been warned.
May not go back very well.
Yeah, it may not go well. We're not even like a minute in. We're already talking about fingering.
You know how difficult it was to come up with something that didn't include fisting or fingering?
No, I don't.
That's a shocker.
Oh my god. I hate all of you. Give me those palm crisps. I'm just like eyeing those like okay, great. So announcements. You have something, Ken?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
Kevin.
This is what happens when your brother is named Kevin and your name is Kenton and you sit next to a Kevin at the table. We're gonna have problems.
It's my life.
It is what it is. So it is 355 days that we have been on this campaign. It is awesome. Thank you so much.
Yay, 1 year anniversary.
And as a thank you for everything that you guys do for us, we have something for you guys.
Oh, what?
Oh.
What? You got us gifts? Speaking of which, I have a gift for you because it was your birthday recently, Adam.
Yeah.
What? It's Christmas. The gift that keeps on giving.
Thank you for hosting us. Thank you for hosting this game. Thanks for...
Oh, guys, what?
This
is so cool.
so cool.
Oh, dude, you're kidding me.
Oh,
Look
this
at
is
this.
awesome.
It's
With
a
all
shirt with all the characters.
All
Is
the
that supposed to be
characters.
me up there?
Yes, that is
so cool.
it's supposed to be you
That's
up there.
fantastic.
Wow, all the characters that have been in the
That's
campaign.
so awesome. Thank you,
Well,
guys.
I absolutely need the digital file of this.
I don't, yeah.
Yeah.
No worries. James
That's
has it.
awesome.
James is...
So cool.
Did you guys see this already?
I'm gonna put this on during the
Yeah.
break.
Okay, all right. This is super.
We were in on it.
All right.
So. What? Shut the fuck up! You guys are all wearing the shirt. That's so cool.
All right, I might have to step into the bathroom quickly. Change shirt.
The only one I don't have is Theo's, and we've already talked about that. So
Thank you. That's
Oh,
awesome.
you guys,
I
this is
walked in,
so
I haven't had a chance to
thoughtful.
We'll make a quick costume change. And
I love it so much.
Between episodes.
Yeah.
I love
Oh.
how I'm like, shh. That's me to Kevin. Shh.
never works. You can always try.
We're working on it. We're working on it. Oh, this is great. This is so cool,
It's really
guys.
cool.
This is why I was asking you for that information, Noah.
That makes sense.
This is
It's all
so
coming
cool.
together.
All right, so I will not dry this. I will make sure that I
Yeah.
don't want to like.
Yeah, machine wash coal turned inside out. I have dried it. It's already been washed once, which is some of the stuff on there. But
Was it Redbubble?
no,
Or-
local company.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, I definitely have to put this on during the break.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much. That's so cool. Oh wow! Yes, happy 1 year anniversary, guys. We did it. We made it a year. We're still alive. We're going strong. Yeah, some of us. Yeah. Well, yeah, the characters. At least I was more talking about the players. I'm like, I'm glad you're still at my table. And yes, that's great. Let's shoot for another year. Let's fucking do it. Right. Awesome.
I told you it was a good surprise.
Yeah.
I have. You can take a look at my stuff during the break. You can. So like, I've got a shit ton of art because I know you want to spruce up your bachelor pad. Great. I don't really have any more announcements other than we're continuing to work with people at Athea. We have some couple things going on with that. Big shout out, thank you to Red from Abraxas Games. We just finished recording the Sea of War game with a couple of our members, and we'll have that edited and out sometime soon. Hopefully before the coming up cons.
Super fun.
So check them out. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, totally check that out. We all dressed up as captains and ship captains. It's a lot of fun. So check that out when it gets posted. Also, make sure to check out the Gluten Talk and Burnt Ends as we talk about stuff. We started doing, I think what the cool thing that we're going to start doing too is doing some of the level ups and rolling for hit dice on the Gluten Talk and Burnt Ends because it kind of fits well into that.
Yeah.
So we can also talk about, hey, like what spells are you thinking about, or like what abilities you like to do, and
So we're just taking it out of our private chat to.
yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. It can just be part of it, but we can also talk about, what was covered in the episodes.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean, that's every time we level up, there is always a discussion among all of us.
Oh,
about
crap.
what's
Okay,
in it.
how do I?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions or any other announcements then? No? Okay, great. Well then, without further ado, you guys want to play some D&D?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So let's get into a recap of the previous session here real quick. I'm going to pause the music and we're going to put on our intro music. And it's a nice long recap because a lot of stuff happened last time.
Did it?
Did it?
Okay.
That sounds like an understatement there, teacher.
Great. Okay, so here we... I just want to see how loud this is.
Inappropriate talk happened this
Yeah, I also heard that. I like that shit.
Okay, so...
It was bad.
After Argus notices the manifestation of the idol in inky crosshatch sketchy form, barreling towards the silvery flame-like looking glass hovering over Log's eye, he fires a warding flare into Log's void, knocking the eldritch creature off kilter for a moment. Chaos ensues where magic is slung in an attempt to prevent the odd creature from escaping the endless void. Argus prays, then sprays, scorching rays into the void at the creature. However, Cole reaches through the portal, pulling through the next thing that grabs his hand, which, unfortunately, is the abominable being. Its maddening form causes most in the vicinity to become confused and unable to put up much of a fight. The party struggles to regain its composure while surrounding the entity. The gang attacks with vigor, but is quickly assailed by the aberration's relentless wrath. Boots becomes the victim of its impossible gaze, succumbing to madness previously untold. The creature flees down the tunnel, realizing that it has a better chance to escape than it does surviving the onslaught of the Argent flame. Log then blasts it with eldritch ferocity through the looking flame, causing a black resin-like critter to squirt from the fetish's creature's form. Combative insanity follows as a hectic chase down the tunnel spreads the group dangerously thin. Log's astral form steps through the silver flame-like veil, floating and flying down the tunnel in pursuit. Sofka darts down the tunnel in saber-toothed tiger form as the creature sends multiple bolts of lightning back down the tunnel. Sofka gets hit with its head spike and has her wisdom permanently drained. The half-elf druid gets teleported beyond the event horizon by Trisheni, perhaps traumatized by the event. Eventually, Sofka is the only one within range, causing a tidal wave of water followed by a wave of rats to descend upon the powerful creature. Its form lifeless and defeated, the eldritch aberration dissolves into an inky ichor that streams back down the tunnel. Back through Log's eye flame, it is shut in his book within the void. The party regroup and try to make sense of what had happened. A pseudonym for the group is decided upon, the Arcane Conundrum. And that night, Sofka has night terrors about what she witnessed beyond the in-between. The next day, the heart of the hopeful recharges and the gang debate how to use it. After a good day's travel, the Argent Flame finally make it to the Golden Gates of Minheim, home of the guilds, the vault, and the Firebeard family. After many offers to purchase conch from the denizens of the beautiful city, the group eventually make it to Us, and Us Holdings LLC, where Naslin retrieves the group's payment after being supposedly chewed out. Stopping at the Raven Queen's temple to see if they can enlist the aid/services of a high priest, the party bumps into Argus's sister, Elora, which I have spelled E-L-O-R-A here, so wonderful. Exposition is enacted as realization dawns on the female dwarf about the supposed guest that they have been harboring. The party decide to approach the home cautiously and from two angles, as Sofka and Tresheni post up under the trap door behind the counter of the Firebeard home. Within is found a well-dressed half-orc cavorting with Argus's father, Gimri. The tension is palpable as laced threats are slung back and forth. Images of Cole's and Boots' family are observed within the reach of possible Emrys copies. Zemdak, unable to take the situation seriously, comes dangerously close to causing an incident, but removes himself upon this realization. The Argent Flame agree to talk as an uneasy armistice begins. Now, let's get back to this wheel and deal scene of the Argent Flame with the host. Welcome back to CrestVahllen. It's as loud as it gets. Wonderful. Okay.
I'm out around the corner of the building, just angry, packing everything.
So you sit there, well, or stand there, depending on what it is you'd like to do. Zemdek, you are outside, angry, packing. We'll get to that in a moment. Argus, you said you wanted to do some retroactive checks.
Yes, I want to do
this
at
individual.
least an insight. I want to check to see if he actually does have copies or if it's all an illusion and all of a trick. Because I did use a sending to Zemdek's father a couple days ago, and it told me no one had shown up. And I also wanted to use my ability to read lips to see if the spells he was using is any illusion spell that I've heard anyone else ever cast.
Sure, yes. Here's what I'm going to have you do. First, you want to see if he's telling the truth before he shows you these illusions. So I'm going to make you do an insight check.
Okay. 17.
17. Is it... He appears to be, at the moment, an open book and appears to be telling the truth, as much as you can tell. You can now do, if you want to, analyze the spell that he's using to show you these images. Roll either an intelligence check or an arcana check.
Which
It's
does it
mostly...
say?
Yeah.
So 15.
15. This appears to be some, not necessarily illusion, but some modification of a spell that allows like a sensor to...
So kind of like my clairvoyant spell. But
it's very similar to that. It's kind of like that, but much
can show someone
far-reaching.
else. Yeah.
And he's like been modified it so that he can show you other other places, like
make sure he's on the level.
a view as to what things. He appears to be, for all intents and purposes, as far as you can tell, on the level. However, with that such high insight check, you also notice that he's sweating. He appears... Oh, thank you. He appears to be quite nervous.
You told me that I was going to need to make a sleight of hand check because I had sat down at the table after he showed
And you're
my
trying to
family, and I
prep
was
a
trying to
spell?
put my hands underneath the table. keep my
Sure,
hands
go ahead and
concealed.
roll a sleight of hand check. Tell me what spell it is that you're prepping, unless you don't want to.
I haven't decided on prepping a spell. I just want my hands underneath the table so they're not visible for him in case.
Okay, I'm going to say this.
Yes.
Until you decide to actually do something with your hands, like using the somatic components of a spell, you won't have to make that check because
Okay.
circumstances are going to change.
Right, and that's part of the reason I don't want to make a decision yet. Too.
Yeah, if somebody is more focused on you, that check's going to be harder.
Okay. So we will cross that bridge when we get to it. Then.
And then if Shakar is riding on your
I
shoulders,
was gonna go walk over by the little crank to open the trapdoor. I'm not gonna open it. I'm
That's
gonna
on the
walk
other side of the counter.
Yeah, I'm
where
gonna walk
your
over.
mother is like holding a axe that she keeps under the
Wouldn't that be? Because I thought
Under
the
the
counter was before
the counter. So the
the
table's
table
in
that
front of
he's
the counter.
telling me.
No, the table's in front of the counter. So like there's lack of a living room. There's an area. You walk in and you go into like an area that has like wood floors and wooden stone floors, and there's the forge there, like living-ish room, but it's not really. It's more of like, antechamber-ish. Then there's a table with like 3 or 4 chairs on it, small table, 3 or 4 chairs on it, and then beyond that is a counter. And then beyond the counter on the wall, there's a bunch of weapons and other stuff that she's forged and whatever. And she is on the other side of the counter. Your mother, Dylura, is on the other side of the counter. Your father, Gimrin, is sitting down at the table, now realizing that he is in danger. He is the one closer to you. The host is on the one farther from you, kind of like in where the counter and the wall meet. That kind of corner. Your mother, you know the sound of your mother's leathery skin against the leather of a handle because you're very familiar with her. And it's just that sound where like your hardened, callous skin goes like leather creasing. So you hear that, you know what that is. The host doesn't seem to be entirely aware, and if he is aware, doesn't seem to care. So for you to do that, you're going to have to walk all the way behind the counter, go to where your mom is, move your mom off the trapdoor. Like, that's going to be a thing. You can attempt to do so if you want to.
So she's standing on the trapdoor.
Essentially. Because she knows if she needs to, she can hit it with her foot and fall through. But you can, if you want to try to do some non-verbal communication with her to tell her to move, you can try that.
I'll just walk to the other side of the counter. So I'm next, like, across the counter from her. So she's there.
I understand.
Yeah.
Oh, the counter's between you two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do that because that'll actually bring you closer to the table anyway, which is where he asked you to come to.
Right.
Absolutely, no problem.
and then if we were running, we probably would have set up a systems of communication so that at least like if Shakar squeezed your left shoulder or like the left side, then be yes and right side no or something. So that way there's at least very simple communication back and forth.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, because the message can go through a couple feet of wood, right?
It's not message because I would be linked to him, so I'm actually I'm linked to Shakar currently. I'm
Right, but
linked to him,
Shakar
so-
can't speak.
Correct,
That's
but
what
that's,
One of those squeezes.
he's gonna do little
Like Morse code, like 2 squeezes for yes, 1 squeeze for no, that kind of
like
thing.
left, right, yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Did you
Getting
establish
massaged.
a communication code beforehand?
We didn't say that in the game, but I feel like we were rushing and I feel like we would have done something like that before.
I'll say if you feel like a lot of squeezes on your shoulder, you can say like it can mean either okay, hey, we're ready to go, or we have to go now, or something's wrong. Like that's pretty well insightful for you. If the owl starts freaking out, or no, if the
Guinea pig?
flying guinea pig, oh my god, starts freaking out, you'd be like, okay, something's up. Yeah, for sure. No
Okay.
problem. Anything else?
I'm going to, not trying to hide it, but very blatantly update my disguised self to look like Cortese, and I'm just going to glare at him
Ooh, okay.
very disapprovingly.
Via your Eldritch Indication, does it require any components like verbal, somatic material, anything
I
like
think
that?
just whatever it normally.
Oh,
I can just do whatever
You
I
just
want.
cast it at will.
Yeah. So now
Okay,
I'm
so
not
you-
trying to
so
be
you-
sneaky about it. Like,
right,
I'm
you're
looking him
blatantly
dead in the eye, just
casting a
like,
spell.
I'm
Okay.
like I'm fucking with you.
Cool. Sure.
Verbal and somatic.
Verbal and
Disguise
somatic.
self.
Okay.
I love when log helps.
Okay. You cast a spell. You see him like shift like half an inch, like in reaction to you beginning to cast a spell, but like his better judgment like gives you the benefit of the doubt and lets you cast a spell. And you see like his hand that he has prepped on your dad like twitch, and then he lets it. And then when he sees the image, you can go ahead and roll an insight check. God, these are so good.
Probably not going to be plus anything.
Insight is what.
So 2.
2.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He looks stalwart. His face of stone. A slight smirk on his face, knowing that he has the upper hand. Anything else?
As I watch him sweat.
As you watch him sweat. Nothing? Okay.
Not as of this moment, no.
Yeah. Here we go.
We have much to discuss. He slowly reaches into his coat. Puts one hand on the table like this. With the hand, he slowly reaches into his coat. And he's eyeing all of you, making very slow, cautious movements, being very, like, telegraphing all of his movements. So, like, you don't freak out. Slowly removes what looks like some sort of, like, glass orb that has veins of, like, gold in it, probably. Like, it looks like this glass orb was cracked at one point and it was repaired with gold. And slowly places it on the table between himself and Gimrin. You see, Argus, you see 2 beads of sweat fall down his face and pit-pat on the table. He inhales a lot, taps the thing, and there's just this wave of like a big old sound wave, just kind of, but it's not sound, it's like that deep bass, and just you feel like the air just like reverberate, and it like it distorts a little bit, like, and you feel like it's like kind of similar to your silence spell, but it's not silence. It's like the sound here has become, you know, when you're in a plane and your ears haven't popped yet, so everything's a little muted. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what it feels like now. It's not silence. You can still hear everybody, but you know that you're not hearing like the full capacity of what your auditory senses could do.
So does it feel more like it did down in the tomb of the post-Kenrin?
No, this is a different feeling.
Okay.
This is a different feeling. That was more like they were teeth biting on the edges of existence, like on the edges of your periphery. That you really experienced. You're like, put the skull back. Yeah, it was more like something's there biting on the edge. You just don't know what it is. No, it's not a presence. It's more like it's kind of like things have been muted, but not fully like muted. Things are just a little quiet. Like I said, that's how it feels. Like when your ears haven't popped.
Question. So I know I'm hearing through Shakar, so it doesn't affect me as much. But is it a true sphere so that like Sofka would be
Zemdak, you
affected?
feel this too. Sofka,
Okay.
you feel this too. Trishina, you feel this too. This is whatever this
Okay.
is a very wide radius.
Okay.
Granted, so Zemdak, you feel something and you don't know what the heck that was. So it's up to you.
Do I hear like commotion inside?
Not at the moment, no.
Then
Yeah, because I'm not even going to make you roll a perception check because there's nothing
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking. So, not at the moment, no. Then as it goes off, he waits for like 2 seconds and is like, and he exhales. And then he barks. Whoa, are you okay? Whoa. Freaking out.
Okay.
You just all trapped in there.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Hi. Okay.
Oh,
I
they're
know. That's
wrestling with each
what's
other.
going on in my mind right now.
And then he screams like that. Wonderful. So he looks like he takes out a handkerchief, wipes his brow. Still in his half orc form. Now we can speak privately. You have much questions, and I do not doubt that I have some answers. And I do not doubt that you want me dead. Because there are more important things. Yes, I have brought you here for a reason. There are those that are now under the impression that I am recruiting you for a certain cause. And I'd like to keep that air and that pretense consistent, as it were, to all others that are aware of us. Apologies for being vague. It is comes with the territory. So, I apologize for putting your families in imminent danger, but it was necessary for us and for those watching to perceive that as the truth. Granted, it really is the truth, but I digress. You have questions? Please.
Those watching, can you elaborate on that?
They are always watching. Everybody, everything. They have power and hands in many of the powerful dealings of the world. That's them right now. They are known to few, but have power over many. Shadows, and controlling most everything. It is important that I don't elaborate too far on this because you need to have, what is the term, plausible deniability. If you would ever be caught, captured, or anything of that, those types of reasons, you need to convincingly be able to say that you know nothing. Especially when spellworker. They are, what I can tell you is that they are a conclave of sorts. Perhaps the more we work together, the more I will be able to let you know. Next question.
You seem to want to work together now, but you didn't. You were very kind of pushing us out of your place and attacking us before.
Yes, for appearances. Like I said, no. The world requires our help. And it is not something that those who have said power would allow. If they knew about it, they could nip it in the bud, for lack of a better term. All of this needs to stay clandestine, cloak and dagger. Perhaps I should elaborate a little bit more. I have no doubt that you wish me dead, and I will give you that opportunity, should that come about, but we have work to do first. I have recruited you and put you on this path for a reason. There's a reason why I made you hate me, there is a reason why I made you despise me, and there's a reason why I manipulated you into pursuing me. Apologies, but it had to be done. And if it wasn't going to be you, it was going to be another group. Powerful adventurers or individuals. What you have seen with your families is true. I do have them at my mercy, as it were, but it is, forgive me for saying, a small price to pay for what it is that we need to be getting. I do not wish to do them harm, but I will if need be. It is a card I keep in my back pocket. But there are more powerful forces at work here. This conclave of sorts seeks to, and has been, have dominion over many of the decisions that nations, continents, powerful governmental leaders make. A deep state, as it were. It wasn't always that way. Things have changed. I require your help to prevent this inevitability from coming to pass. For if the fate of the world continues to be in their hands, we are all doomed. They have gone from having the will and the considerations of the majority and the world in mind to being more concerned about their own interests.
Is your mother involved in this? She tried to have us detained.
I was afraid of that.
Correct,
She
we
is-
weren't saying nice things about you at the time.
What I can tell you is, yes, she is one of the members of this club.
Is security for another?
He just smiles at you. I have to ration my information, but it is not outside the realm of possibility. What happened? What happened there? Was always going to happen. If it wasn't going to be me, it was going to be someone else that they gave the job. It was my job. They ordered me to do it. And if I didn't, somebody else would be doing it with different values and leanings.
What values and leanings would those be?
Ones that are unquestioned.
I'm talking about yours.
I ask questions. I do not blindly follow. But I keep those questions under the cover of obedience.
I'm gonna try and, just to see if this kind of works, I'm gonna try and lock on to Shakar and say, he's got our families, he's talking, don't do anything drastic mentally.
Cool.
Because my mind is in there
Right. So very interesting. The theory is like Sakara is his own entity. Really interesting.
Right.
But you hear everything Shakar hears. So I guess essentially you would hear anything that his mind would hear.
Right, because I'm in him right
Sure,
now.
yeah,
I'm in
you know,
his
that's
mind right
some really weird shenanigans, but I'll allow it. Yeah, absolutely. So you hear what he says. Yeah, I'll allow that. It's fine.
And-
I'm gonna regret allowing that.
now. And with your ability, it allows for that person to connect back,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's another one that he might have to make a
But I don't
DM
know if-
shenanigan.
Yeah,
back.
that's a little different.
Yeah.
I doubt you'd be able to because you'd have to have, if Shakar could speak, he could respond.
She would have to telepathically tell Shakar to tell Cole
Right,
their
but
response.
Shakar can't.
He can
do
think the
that.
response.
He can think,
because they communicate.
but he thinks in Sylvan.
Oh, that's true.
So
And I don't speak Sylvan.
Yeah.
So
I don't either, actually.
yeah, granted, language doesn't. I don't believe your ability requires a language to be shared.
no, I don't. It doesn't. No.
Yeah.
But
It has to be.
you're gonna
shared
get
for them to
owl
understand
thoughts.
me.
You're
yeah.
gonna get like telephone, like
Well,
what
I'm gonna
like
get
owl-
flying guinea pig thoughts.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're gonna get flying guinea pig thoughts, which is like. So you're gonna get like a telephone. You can tell him a thought, and then he can translate it through flying guinea pig thoughts. So you just, it's gonna be weird. It's not gonna be like, it's gonna be a little bit more imagery, but it's not probably not gonna come across the way she intended.
For right now,
Let's think of a game of telephone.
Oh yeah.
for right now, I'll just tell Shikard and slowly nod his head.
That's good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. You just get an affirmative from Chicago.
Stop from giving you a massage and just. All right. Yeah.
Great, you do so. Next question.
Does this spell prevent them from this bubble of communication?
I have casted a spell that keeps prying eyes from viewing our conversations temporarily. Divination has no effects while we are within the range of this item. It is something that they don't know I have. I assume...
You
But
assume
I
they
so-
don't know you have.
Correct. But also, I use it very seldom when I believe that they will not be intent on it. Actually, so, but I cannot use it for very long. It would arouse suspicion.
Why do they need a city of undead?
Spoilers. But what I can tell you is that, again, it was always going to happen. Technically, they don't have a city of undead. They have a city that is now under the control of someone. And most of its and half of its populace has been turned to stone. Someone that has all of the powers of martial law under their command. Someone that could very possibly have an entire city hostage.
I'll whisper to Shikar, someone who tried to recruit me.
He just nods.
Another guinea pig thumbs up.
I don't know if I want
I
to.
didn't need a response.
Yeah.
It's just that's someone I could say something to extremely quick.
That's Shikar would
Yeah.
do, though.
Yeah. I will. I'm assuming you're very, very close to me because I'm basically.
Yeah, you guys are in like the same
incapacitated.
5 foot square.
Yeah. So I'm going to, knowing that you are a very perceptive individual, I can't hear myself, but I'm going to try to be as quiet as I possibly can in trying to say the things that just whisper.
Okay. Yeah, easily enough.
Damn. I was finding I'm doing something rash. I can't do it.
You can't hear.
No.
I know. That was more to myself.
Okay.
My rats.
Yeah.
You also know that my mom's standing right on the trap door.
Yeah. I'm like, please.
Can I insight check him to see if he's like how you like
Absolutely.
him? Tell he's being. I don't notice shit.
Hard to read.
11, yeah.
Very hard to read. It's quite hard to read.
What you're doing to Eleazar just for appearances, or is there more to this?
That is a more complex question than you realize. What is happening to him has to be real for reasons of, yes, appearances.
So what is?
But while he is in my care, he is in no mortal danger.
But with this appearance of trying to recruit us, what does that do to him?
He is viewed as leverage from outside perspectives. He is viewed as leverage, a reason, in addition to your families, that you would go along with what I tell you to do. There is no there is no enemy, there is no ally in this situation. I understand whatever you choose to view me at is entirely yours. choice. And if you choose to eventually, once we are done with the work that we need to do, attempt to kill me, I will give you that opportunity.
What would you choose our perception of you to be?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. For the moment. An uneasy truce for at least, again, the moment. People united in desperation to achieve a goal that both of us want achieved.
And that goal is?
I have my own personal goals. I wish to relinquish my love from your grasp, as it were. But that is one of my end goals. However, one of the reasons why I brought you here, it is also a perk, an unintended consequence of perhaps things that you have delved in that I wasn't expecting.
We do that.
I've seen. Also, this conclave moves power and influence throughout nations and the world, as I have said before. At the moment, they are focused on one that could have ramifications, a bit of a domino effect that could spell much trouble for the Razorfang Agreement. And if the Razorfang Agreement should fall, it's one of the most powerful nations in the world today, not just under the sway, but fall as a whole. Many options on the table. It is a chess game. If one of these things happens, then it will be more and more hope will become lost. So, immediately, our next goal is to prevent a certain person from becoming in a certain position of power with one of the clans of the Razor. Situations have been postulated and put together and set up to put this person in power, and I have to prevent that and put somebody, well, I wish to prevent that and put someone else in power. A proxy, as it were, perhaps. Well, it is complicated. All I can say is that I have a job for you. As a sign of good faith, I am willing to leave here and never come back. After we come to some sort of agreement.
Or what about everyone else's family?
Exactly.
I need to have some leverage, don't I?
You have that potential already.
You have Eliezer.
Someone that you have adventured with for perhaps a few weeks is nothing compared to blood.
A companion that has saved my life multiple times is the same as blood.
Again, I understand that you could hate me, and I'm willing to accept that. However, I have to protect not just my interests.
But what was worth giving up your castle? Karadine, the bottom, the protector of the Razorfang. In this chess game.
It was a task that I was assigned to do by the Conclave. And if I did not do it, I would not be in a position to bring down the Conclave from the inside. Somebody else would have done it, and they might be far less inclined to to ask questions.
The gnome that was with you in Kennedy, did you choose him, or was he assigned to you?
Oh, I sought him out, yes. Someone from your other... someone... I find that it is most efficacious to find people of... let's just say the Conclave's methods have rubbed off on me. And they have trained me well when it comes to manipulating people from and using people from other people's pasts. I sought him out. He was desperate, easy to persuade, easy to give what it is that he needed in order to get done. And he fulfilled his role. I was down there searching for a what is the word? Contingency. Perhaps hopefully being able to find something in some of the old ancient constructs that could possibly stop them from operating. But lo and behold, I was interrupted. Didn't expect you to show up that quickly. I thought that would be done before you show up. You have surprised me at many turns, which to you speaks of your eternal credit, which is the reason why I believe now you are ready. Next question. You see him relax his hand, no longer holding the spell.
Argus takes a deep breath.
Okay.
I'm still just glaring. As Tortesi. Yeah.
The guys that this one has pains me greatly. Although I have been trained to be heartless, lo and behold, despite that, I still have one. If you wish to make a trade, I'd be willing to do so. However, you need to understand it's not just my interests that I need to keep in mind.
But by us having this leverage, doesn't that keep up the perception from the Conclave?
If the Conclave found out that you have this individual, they might send the Dorkennen riot. The Dorkennen Rye? Sure, you want me to spell it for you?
That and can make a history check, because never heard that before.
Sure, everybody can make a history check. Yes. It's going to be very hard, though. This is probably something you guys are going to have to research.
Can I make a history check?
Absolutely.
That one.
Demdek, I wish you were there because you're the one that probably knows the most about this.
Not a lot.
13.
7.
15.
I wasn't
16.
paying attention. This is a serious conversation.
Yeah. What'd you get?
Well, I rolled an at one, so 3.
Okay. So 15 and 16, Argus and Kevin, you... One, Argus, you've heard the surname, the Rye part before. Something in your travels of being mercenaries, tales of like the Morhi Rye with the temples, but you're not familiar with the Dorkennen. You're not familiar with what that is, and all you know is that the Morhi Rye are some sort of revered members of the temples. But you're not familiar with what the Dorkennen Rye. You just being a bard and a storyteller and trying to find out a lot of history, know about the same thing. About the same type of information. Dorkennen sounds like just old language, just very, very old name, something that's probably from antiquity, but other than that, aren't able to... something does pique in your mind of like perhaps maybe some old nursery rhymes or tales that you like tell your kids when you want them to not to do something.
I mean, I do have a nursery rhyme book in my backpack, and I took it out
right,
of...
which is why you even have this England.
Yeah.
So, but you can't put your finger on it. It is my assumption that they do not know that you have this individual. They have not been keeping as much tabs on you as I have. They are more concerned about my interactions with you.
Is that why you left Pernilla with us?
Pernua was meant to be a guiding hand. Granted, he did not guide her. She did her own.
Great at backstabbing.
I don't believe that was intentional. But
Some foreshadowing, I guess.
for the record, I did not assert my control over her while she was staying with you. It wasn't until... And yes, I had done similar things to her that I am doing to you now. I made her hate me, but it was necessary for giving her everlasting life, for creating her into the revenant she is today. And I'm willing to accept it. And also, I had her consent. If she knew what that meant. One of the ways to release her from this would be to kill me. Yes. And again, I will give her that opportunity once we are done. And hopefully, once my love is safe. And even more hopefully, once I'm able to return my love to the land of the living. Now, I have no doubt, I'm aware that you still hold, one of you still hold my laboratory notes. You have no doubt studied them, knowing how intelligent you are, deciphered quite a bit. It is my goal to somehow bring it back without the use of damaging magics or those outside of my control.
I have divine magic that can bring people back to life.
And you would do this for me. You would do this for him.
Considered it, but I don't know enough about him to make that choice. I also don't know if he was wearing that manat when he died, so that would be kind of the thing.
Neither do I.
I felt that you were doing something more sinister than just bringing him back to life and trying to make him immortal.
I would like to make him immortal.
But you'd settle if I just brought him back to life.
I don't know. There are many feelings that I am not used to feeling when he is not here. All I know is that I have my suspicion that the Conclave did something to him and made sure I was unable to find him. So I have my own bone to pick.
So you didn't know where he was when we found him?
No. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Conclave now knows that wherever that was disturbed. They usually keep watchings or some sort of eye on the wall.
Little floating eyes.
Perhaps, yes.
Yeah.
So they most likely know that it has been disturbed. But depending on how quickly you were in...
We encountered and dealt with the eye before we had discovered him.
So maybe there's still hope. It could be within the realm of possibility that they do not know that you have him. I do not know. I do not know why or if they actually did anything to him. All I know is that he was reported dead and missing by them, and I do not trust them. But I know in my heart, I want to believe in my heart that they had something to do with it. And I will do everything within my power to exact my revenge. And bring him back, to be immortal, to fly in the face of what they represent.
You are doing this to us, and you were trained and indoctrinated by them so well, as you say. How do we know that what they are doing, that they are not doing the same thing to you that you are playing into their plan right now.
He looks down, smiles, and chuckles for a moment. You don't. But we all must take risks. It's only your choice to determine whether it's worth it. But do know that if I fail with you, I will try again. Perhaps with a different alibi. I would prefer not to. For every risk I take, it makes me farther, increases the chances that I become caught by whatever it is. I can't say too much more.
Cole's gonna laugh at that caught statement. Caught? Do you understand? Caught? He's gonna look at him with his red eyes and go, do you realize what you and your conclave have unleashed on this world?
Not exactly, and that's the whole point. There is quite a bit of information that is not allowed, that I am not privy to. My mother may be one of the more powerful members of the Conclave. There are others. And although I may be her adopted son, she takes her work very seriously.
What does she want with dragons?
Kind of looks at you quizzically on that one. I don't know. You mean you couldn't possibly mean living dragons?
We haven't seen one, but we've seen dead ones.
We also know of living ones.
You know of living dragons?
You don't?
We stumbled upon her College of the Unearthed.
Perhaps I'm not the only one trying to influence you then. Have you been in communication with her?
Nearly.
Not directly.
Not
Thank goodness.
since we heard that she was ordering somebody to try and detain us. Luckily, they were another member of the college and knew how to respect that.
I have been very busy grooming you and putting a lot of other things in place and setting up the dominoes so that I could continue this line plans within plans within plans without arousing suspicion. So apologies if I don't know too much about this, but thank you for bringing it to my attention. I will make it a point to do my best to find out. In the meantime, if you are amenable to it, we have work to do. But I wouldn't put it past her that she also has plans within plans within plans. So if you say she's messing with dead dragons, I would say that our dangers never cease.
Do you know what she's looking for with the College of the Unearthed?
I know that she is a benefactor of it.
The
A
main,
supporter or a sponsor.
main benefactor of it, actually.
Yes, she was the one that originally put forth the funds in order to get it made.
And controls those funds and how they're distributed still.
The tracks. That's exactly what she does. She's a member of the Conclave. A lot of the others do similar things. Keeps them in power. She's a member of a wealthy family. A dwindling race, but she has power. If not one of the most powerful families in the oligarchy of the Lithuanian Confederacy. Granted, so am I. I am not afforded as much freedom as she is, of course. But I am trying to use my position to change. To affect change. Again, I understand. I am willing to do the bad thing for the good reasons. I am willing to do that so that others do not have to. Next question.
Does the mongrel fled mean anything to you?
It's vaguely familiar, but nothing from what it is weird talk. It's from what I understand. Perhaps part of an old chant or rhyme? I'm not familiar, I'm sorry.
It's part of the path you set us on.
How so?
Part of what you unleashed. Cole's going to point at his eyes.
I assure you, I do not know what you mean.
This path you set us on took us places. Dangerous places.
Seen some shit.
I have no doubt. You need to understand I'm not entirely responsible for everything that you have.
Trying to tell them this.
Yeah, but whose fault is it when you hit the domino and it lights the match down there that sets the house on fire? It's the domino at the end, or is the person who hits the domino at the beginning?
There are extraneous circumstances. Things happen. I am doing my best, but I am not a grandmaster of chess.
Maybe one of your other selves does.
Perhaps you might
To be fair, we sought out Granny on our own. She's the one that sent us on that task.
I don't.
So,
Perhaps there are other forces in the world. Perhaps there are other dominoes that have been laid.
Well, to help us get that straight, what tasks have you sent us down? What path has brought you?
You want a play-by-play?
Always.
The Conclave was searching for this wine that you were sent to retrieve, because it has, as you have no doubt become aware, regenerative or degenerative abilities. Makes you younger. The Conclave wishes to have a monopoly, entire agency over items and magics that prolong
Oh, they're going to be disappointed with that wine.
vitality. What is the word? When you have
Extended life.
but what's the
longevity.
longevity that enhance longevity?
They're not going to be happy with
One
that.
of their personal obsessions.
They're not going to be happy with what we returned to them then.
Did you pull a switcheroo?
We added something to it.
I can't say I'm not proud.
I call the switcheroo just more a dilution.
Yeah, more of a dilution. I mean, we only got half of a barrel back from you. They were requesting the full thing.
I may have used a little bit of my own purposes. Oh, actually, I don't think I did.
I mean, it does work.
Well, I hope so. Otherwise, the Conclave likes to be sure of their investitures before they
So
gauge any resources into it.
if they were looking for it and you had it, or were you supposed to protect it? Or did they
It
not
may
know
have
you had
fallen
it?
off the back of the truck. Or cart, as it were. It originally came from a farm in the Kalodi fields that had been exposed to some primordial energies that's beyond my purview. Something involving flowers.
Yeah.
You were continuing your play-by-play.
Yes, so that is the first domino. And Pernua was the guiding hand for the rest of it. Granted, she had no idea. Didn't use my will upon her.
Spied through.
Having her part of your group and seeking out vengeance and having you empathize with her and sympathize with her was enough. Or then you sought me out. And as long as I left you breadcrumbs, you went where I wanted you to go. Again, I apologize for manipulating you, but it was necessary.
So what's with all the Terzi?
Pulls out a piece of terrazine encased in spent terrazine, plops it on the table. That is an extremely powerful catalyst used to enhance spellcraft, which I'm sure you are aware. A regulated material and highly dangerous. It has aided me and others in our arcane pursuits for a while, but I personally have been studying it and perhaps taking a few more risks with it than my predecessors. So I have been able to unlock a few more secrets of it. For example, I plan to use this to aid in my personal pursuits. Bring you back and granting immortality to my love. But you would be a fool if you thought the Conclave didn't have their own resources.
Oh, of course. I just meant you're throwing it around like it's nothing.
Like
it
I
doesn't
said,
have
Conclave
consequences.
has a lot of resources. Of course, it has consequences. And again, sacrifices must be made and appearances must be upheld.
Almost killed us with that stuff twice now.
At least we're getting better at it.
I had faith in your capabilities, and if I did, then you weren't the right ones.
Good thing you chose a group inside.
Also, you almost killed me.
Right.
Also, I came very close to no longer breathing. So, pardon me if I had to pull out to my last resort. Or one of them.
Was that you or one of your other copies?
Who are we speaking to now?
A distinction without a difference.
And why did it matter?
Well, many resources go into creating these copies.
How many copies?
I knew that question would come up. Not sure I'm willing to share.
A sign of good faith.
The sign of good faith is that I leave you here, alone, unassailed and unharassed.
And that's what you call basically putting all of our families hostage, unharassed.
Is there a limit to the lengths that you would go to save the world?
I'll look at all my family members.
Would you save your family at the expense of the world? That's what I thought. So, again, we can meet on a setting in a field of battle of your choosing once all is said and done.
We or just one of you?
You're a shrewd individual, aren't you? I'm willing to be honest with you when the time comes. However, in the meantime, as I said, I am willing to atone and be punished for the crimes that I have committed, as long as my love is able to see the dawn of the day afterward.
If this will not offend, who is your original family, since you are adopted?
As it's a mystery to me as well as it is to you. I was rescued, if you want to call it that, by the Iron Box. They found potential in me, so they raised me, trained me, taught me, showed me how to see to things beyond sight, understand things beyond understanding. So in a way, I am thankful to them, but what can I say? I'm a complex individual. I have questions for you now. What, other than possibly, I know it sounds pedantic, I know it sounds sensational, I know it sounds over the top, but what are your goals, other than potentially saving the world from damnation?
So far, it's just kind of been killing you.
Perhaps I'm too good at my own job.
We have different. That's more of a question for individuals.
I suppose. Then please let it be posed as so.
Your family holds my mother.
Yes, that, unfortunately, or fortunately, is not my personal doing. My mother and father like to keep a menagerie of sorts for more purposes than just pure entertainment. They have been around for a very long time, and they find interest in exotic. The word, the taste in my mouth. That word. Species. So I have no doubt that if they knew, well, most likely they do. I'm surprised that they have not requested that I relinquish my custody of your silver-scaled friend to theirs, because they would most. Which means something else is more important to them.
Could be perception. That you have leverage over us and not getting us to see them as being a part of.
Could be a whole
What's
host of
involved.
things. So, I would be willing to help you in that endeavor. See what I can do. Our best bet to help with that, though, would be have you present. If you were to possibly, as outward appearances would be, you essentially working as a mercenary band for the Conclave, as how I have set this up, to look as an extended arm of the Conclave. You perhaps could be granted an audience to House Ehrenbach. I can facilitate that. But granted, I cannot outwardly and directly break somebody out of their dungeon. That would destroy a cover that I have been building for decades. If not longer. So, intention? Yes, I can help. Action? I don't know. I doubt they care too much about if I'm correct, a bugbear.
Yeah.
An elderly bugbear?
Older than me.
Pardon me. It means so much.
Ooh, my mom's beans.
Perhaps I could put somebody else in their place, make them look the same. They don't usually. Unless she has become one of the more favored ones, I doubt they remember exactly what she looks like. In their place, someone that looks like them, a switcheroo, as you like to do. But that is another conversation for another time.
How did you discover my family?
Do you honestly think I haven't been doing my research on you before you even left? Not Solis. Sasso?
Yes.
Well, I have.
Granted, this is what Cole believes, just because Cole's
I have abilities that allow me to be not only in more than one place at a time, but instantly somewhere else. Or near instant.
And what's going on in Babas?
Yes. That was more trouble than it was worth.
Was that done by the Conclave?
Indirectly, I suppose. Possibly. That I have not been studying. I am not sure. It could be something extraneous as well. All I know is that zealots have taken over. The word of the god pharaoh worshipping any other than the god pharaoh have become now quite literally a crime. And after searching for your family, finding out that they were already under the custody of these zealots, I found it to be more trouble than it was worth.
Just looking at the guinea pig, I'm assuming at this point.
Yes, he's straight at the beginning. He's a wizard too. He's very familiar with
I knew that he would be familiar with familiars.
yeah,
So
familiar with familiars.
yeah, Shakar is definitely just like,
I was
Kicking his
yeah.
I had to ask a question.
Thank you.
And interestingly enough, I was not able to find the other. But it appeared that most of my work had been done for me, so why go through the extra effort?
Sofka's so pissed right now because she can't say anything. Can I try to?
One of you is not here that I am not quite as familiar with.
What do you know about them?
Their name, where they came from. Why are you asking?
Just seeing how deep your knowledge goes.
I do my best to be a studious student. Trust but verify. I like to do research on my... You're going to hate this. Employees.
I haven't seen it pay us yet.
Back pay, then. The safety of your families.
This is not the first time I've been propositioned to join.
I'm sorry. I do not follow.
Different propositions than law gets.
There's a reason why I mentioned security.
You're saying that he tried to recruit you to the conclave. He wanted you to be his... That makes so much sense. Well, And I guess I thank you for turning him down.
Oh, yeah. But what makes me stop turning you down for the exact same role?
Have your families? And it's not
Point.
exactly the same. It's actually working on the other side of the coin. Other than working towards the selfish, narcissistic consolidation of power for their own interests and possibly the end of the world, they're working against it.
I would pretty much probably be in your exact shoes if that direction went there.
That is interesting. That gives me an idea. You could possibly return to him and agree to be under his purview, and you could be another man on the inside. It is another avenue worth considering.
Not a direction I really want to go. Being by myself is a lot harder than being with my friends.
Agreed. Which is why I went through all this effort. I apologize. And I know it means absolutely nothing. For manipulating you, I know how people hate to be manipulated. And I will, again, give you the opportunity to get your just desserts. Or however you want to
Depending on your recompense, that may not necessarily be the direction that I personally.
Is there any way I could come up here?
You could bang on the bottom of the
You could
thing.
shapeshift into a spider and crawl
Yeah, I
through
was
the
thinking
crack.
about doing that.
Something like that. Yeah. Do something like that.
Yeah, but if
Crap, I'm gonna be. All right, cool.
You're just gonna be down there,
Should
deaf
I-
and dumb, alone.
I'm just so mad.
No,
You do what you need to. You do what you need to do.
Stuff like
Well, he already knows you're here. He was talking to him.
I have,
Yeah.
I have a question that none of you guys can ask. So,
Oh, okay.
like,
Okay.
I can't. It can't be asked for me.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pop spider form.
Okay, cool.
I just
While you do that,
feel your
I'm just
hand
gonna
go away. I'm like,
continue talking a little bit.
I like pat you on the back before I go. I'm like,
You'll
and then you
sneeze
don't see it, so I like
She
pat it.
appears
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah. So then I'll spider form.
okay.
We are running low on the amount. He pulls out what looks like a pocket watch of Razor Fang design. We are running low on time before suspicion is roused. So once this drops, we have to act as if you are very upset and this close to taking my head off.
That won't be difficult.
I assume this.
Pop out of my form.
You stand there?
Yeah.
It's not your car, Caesar.
I just kind of slowly pop out of my form.
You should probably duck.
At first, he doesn't notice you.
Nice.
And then out of the periphery, he's like, oh, decided to join us.
What does this have to do with the Vox Mentis?
You are referring to the collection of druids from the north.
Yes.
The Vox Mentis have been at odds with the Conclave for as long as I can remember. If you have any dealings with the Vox Mentis, you possibly could have. I have to admit, you have played things very close to the chest. I don't know a lot about your past. Why do you ask?
The only people I've ever loved were part of them. So
Were?
they died. They were assassinated.
As I said, the Dorcan and Rai are quite.
It was red. They wore red cloaks.
They?
Just one, with white eyes.
White eyes?
I think so. It's been so long.
He's very possibly one of the Dorcan Rai. Did you get the chance to find out the gender?
No.
Well, the Dorcanon Rai think of them as the secret service or the protectors of the Conclave. Also, have now become assassins, if they need to be. Extremely powerful individuals that seek out to handle problems for the Conclave, if all else fails.
Is the Vox Mentis fallen? Or were my sisters more important than I thought?
Your sisters.
Well, kinda.
The Vox Mentis have been a thorn in the side of the Conclave for, again, as long as I can remember. It would stand within reason that a detachment or a member of the Dorcanon Rai was sent after them to try to thin their numbers. Take care of ones that were easily picked off. But if the Dorcanon Rai, you will have to do. I know very little, other than that there is yet to be a male inducted into the order, and that they have been or have done to themselves blinded. So that somewhat matches the description if you have white eyes. Those that are inducted into the Dorcanon Rai are not allowed their sight any longer. For they are not allowed to know who are members of the Conclave. Only to exact their orders. But they are unyielding and relentless. If the Dorcanon Rai come after you, I cannot help you. Which is why I did it this way. So you'll be viewed as an ally, not an enemy. One of the many reasons.
Why didn't they kill me? If they're trying to
They follow orders to the letter. If you were unexpected, they might not have cared. Or they viewed you as not a threat. Did you get away? Did they let you?
they let me.
Interesting. I don't know. Some of them have a perverse sense of humor. Most of them.
Will there be a time when they know that we are not an ally?
Perhaps. I cannot guarantee the future. Pardon me. The beans.
How does the Red Lion Syndicate fit into this?
The Red Lion Syndicate are pawns, a establishment that has their hand in all jars and all pots, their fingers in many pockets. They are not. They might be widespread across the world, but all they care about is gold. You give them money, they do a job, and then you easily dispose of them, if needed. They are an establishment, a collection of peoples that do one thing, an institution, as it were. They do what they want because they get paid. But of course they make many monies and slavery and other morally bankrupt economies. I have been known to use them for grunt work here and there, But they always cover my tracks. Tie up loose ends.
Incinerating them?
When it calls for it. Why?
I saw you.
You saw me.
Yeah.
Where?
Warm on bed.
Thinks for a moment.
Not that copy.
I nearly forgot. Yes. Perhaps I'm getting rusty. Yes, I hired one of the more logistical things to set up dominoes and manipulations. But as you must know, all they care about is gold, so I couldn't risk having loose lips over someone who's a couple platinum would open them. And the easiest way to keep a secret is for that everyone who knows the secret to be dead. We are running very short on time. I must now impart to you the details of our next endeavor. I must trust this to you. In Steercrag, there is a dispute as to who should become the new head of the clan, as there has been a vote of no confidence for a certain clan member. The Stoneworm Clan has suffered a loss, and as such, the male head dwarf of the clan has gone into, let's say, a troubled state. And as such, a vote of no confidence has been raised, and they are looking to pass the mantle of responsibility off to someone else. Now, I have no doubt that the Conclave set all of this up when it comes to their loss and the vote of no confidence. They even have, most likely, someone there that is their plant, that they can control easily if they have something on or something. We are to make sure that doesn't happen. By any means necessary. Either keep who's in power, or give power to someone else somehow that is not under the influence of the Conclave. It is one domino in a long line that could speak. Let me make this clear. The Stoneworm Clan is possibly up to be one of the next triumvirate members. As you no doubt have heard, there was an assassination attempt on one of the members of the triumvirate. And a lot of information has been stonewalled. We do not know of the fate of one of the members of the triumvirate. If that should be the other two clans, there has been rumors and wordage of talking about how if they allowed themselves to be assassinated, then none of the clan are worthy of being part of the triumvirate anymore, and a new clan is being searched for. Like I said, changes in power. If that is allowed to happen, disparate minds in the triumvirate could cause discord, chaos, disorganization, and allow for the dismantlement of the Razor Fang agreement to be far easier than if they were formed. So, plans within plans within plans. We have to take it one step. It would behoove me to ask if you would relinquish my love to my care. before I leave.
We'd have to ask the one who's carrying it.
Is he okay?
No.
What happened?
Brainworms.
Rain? He's been infected by an elephant.
Not quite.
He has a neothelid in his right.
No.
He has something in his brain.
He was attacked by a very powerful entity.
The mongrel. Or something with to do with the mongrel.
So there's
It's a big statue.
It was the fetish that came to life.
A little statue.
It's in a book in my arm.
I'm sorry.
What?
Nope.
Understand none of this.
So
guys
we
are
need
doing
to try
too
to.
much.
I'm trying to go there.
Wow.
That's what happens when you go insane.
Great. While this is happening, Zemdak, we're going to cover what's going on with you outside.
Yeah.
You're furiously putting the
Everything
stuff,
back in the back.
everything back in the back. It's going to take a little bit because there's a lot of fucking stuff.
I mean, they had a long conversation.
Sure. Yeah. Of course. No. Like by the end of this conversation, you will have to finish for sure. However, amid while you're Pinto, while you are doing this, you do hear like a from behind the shack. And then you see something like move from behind the shack. Oh, hey!
Oh, hey. How are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Not bad.
What are you doing?
Oh, just packing my stuff back up.
Oh, did your bag rip?
No.
Got any stuff you want to get rid of?
You got anything to trade?
Let's see. Reaches into himself. He's like, this thing has been hard to digest. I haven't been able to get rid of it.
What do you like to digest?
Mushrooms, fungi, anything that dissolves, iron, protein, more iron, steel, anything really.
I got these cool
Just really
spikes.
Spikes?
Yeah.
Yeah? What kind of spikes?
I don't know. Some weird metal we found.
Ooh,
Get a ruin
weird
on the
metal.
surface.
Does acid work on it?
I don't know. I haven't tried it.
Let's try.
If you kill,
Am I out of jail?
I will be so upset.
So,
If I kill Sam,
No, I'm talking to him.
oh, if I kill, let's try. And he just
If Sam-
involves you. No.
I'll trade you one of those spikes for that cool thing you got.
There's a little bead.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Cool. I'll pull one of the galvanized spikes out of the bag and
Put
I'll
it in your mouth.
shove it in his mouth.
I'm
I'm just waiting for him to give him Tortesi.
so ready.
You see it starting to like in his form is this like big old spike, and now he's like it kind of like reorients itself in him, and it just kind of like floats a little bit, which is kind of odd. And it goes up to his head and just kind of peeks out, but it's still covered by the film of his body.
You're a
so it looks a little
unicorn
bit like Oblio now.
Does that taste good?
Ooh, it's changing flavor. It's like candy coated.
Cool.
That's really cool. Okay,
Glad you
know.
like it. Thank you.
This little bead. So, what else is new?
I don't know. Some jerks in there threatening our families.
Jerk.
They're
I
all.
always thought he was pretty nice.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah, she's the one that awakens me.
Oh. Do you threaten your family?
I don't have a family.
Oh, that's sad.
Do you want to be my family?
Sure, I'll be your family.
No.
Samael the Gel in our party. The new Pranua.
You have to stay with family forever?
No, most of my family's not
Okay,
even here.
bye.
Samael Garnet Flake. I'm just
He starts to seep through some of the cracks in the ground, and like the spike gets caught. Ting, 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 ting. And then it gets pulled through the crack.
Bye, Samael. If you ever find yourself near Thulmore Bed, that's where the rest of my family's at. Say hi to them.
Pardon me. He pops up in a different crack. Just the face with like just a drop of. Okay, bye. Stop it. Stop it. Great. I'm running up. Our time is. I unfortunately have to cut this short. Our time is up. I'll see you next week. Are you ready to put on appearances?
I'll go back to Tommy Lister Jr.
Are you willing to do what needs to be done?
only until I can kill you.
Fair enough. He grabs the orb first, whispers something in it, taps it, and puts it away in his thing. And the whatever that sphere was drops. So is your job clear?
You son of a bitch.
Roll performance.
I mean, it's kind of true.
Performance. 14. Buddy.
14. Hey, that's pretty good. Pretty good. I believe it.
I don't have any food for you.
It's clear now. Get out of here before we kill you.
It's clear that we have no choice.
Yes, your families will stay under my purview and care until I deem it is no longer necessary.
I'm gonna spit on him.
Oh.
Ew.
No, he doesn't like it. He just like. Well, maybe one of your family members will find it easier to sleep in a cage this evening.
Reason 300 I'm going to kill.
I hope you hear
Perhaps someday.
the screams of the children you killed.
Sacrifices always have to be made. Very well. Takes up his Terazine and puts it away. Stands up. Walks right past you within inches of you, Argus. Without even looking at you, just wisps right past you. Walks to the door. I'll leave you to it then. I'm glad we could come to an arrangement. Opens the door, nods, and walks out the door. Zemdak, you see the host, or this half-orc individual, come out the door, nod at you.
I lost a bet to myself. I figured someone would take a swing in there.
Does spit count as a swing?
Oh, hey. I'll take that. Which one was it?
The dirty one.
Oh, he gets the bet.
She.
She gets the bet.
There's like 30 ones.
I figured it'd be the one with the beard.
His anger was more.
Or his mom. She apparently has a temper.
And a beard.
Well, I bid you adieu. I'm sure the rest of your group will catch you up. on Things.
Dying to fire.
How pleasant. And he just floats away into the crowd, into the street. All right, guys.
I want to hold that fucker down while Pernua stabs me to death.
Which one?
What do you mean? Oh, you're saying that.
So
All and any.
the problem is, you kill one. What's the point?
You hear
Oh,
as the axe that your mother was holding flips through the air and hits the door and gets lodged in the door.
Like, just as I'm opening it.
Yeah. Just as you're opening it, it's like.
Hey, Argus, can you let me?
yeah.
I think you dropped
Mom,
it.
I have another friend in the underground tunnel.
Oh, what? What?
I'll reach over. And I guess I probably have to hop on the desk to reach. To reach down.
Go down.
The little thing that kids
So
do.
what are you doing? Oh, hello.
Hello. Sorry, we were trying to, cover our bases. And,
Puts her hand down.
thank you. All right. Woo. Good. All right. Thank you.
Sorry I left you.
It's okay. I understand.
I just want. Yeah.
You had to do what you had to do.
Yes, it was probably a good thing that you weren't there to counterspell and cause a lot of.
Yeah, I was a little miffed at first, but then seeing that.
Would have caused some fun silence.
Did you guys have a plan to fight? Yeah, you did. Shut up.
We had a few plans, all right?
I did give you a
Not all of them
I'm like, if you go
plans.
fight, shit's gonna go down real fast.
Within plans. Within plans. That's what we had.
Awesome.
Long thread. Long.
I didn't mean to railroad you, but I mean, like, he's very smart and he is he's keep playing everything very close to the chest.
You're told with a lot of information.
So I'm guessing he's not going to leave us alone.
Not from what we gathered.
And
Well, that sucks. I'm going to go over and sit over in the corner with the forge in it. And I'm going to cast Identify
On the thing?
on the bead.
On the bead. On the bead. I have something
was
for
this
you.
what Samuel just gave you? Okay.
Depends on how long you guys leave me over there. One more
How
thing
do
to
I
do, too.
catch him up if we are being.
I was actually just kind of thinking about that.
Oh, that
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That'd be a better.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
If it weren't for the fact that I literally just saw him start to cast a spell, I wouldn't be telling him now, but I know him.
Well, I'm
Well,
sure you
he
recognize.
also doesn't necessarily care.
I don't always really care most.
No, he just thinks it's funny.
Especially at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got to go back to the temple.
Yeah, we got to fix this.
Can we get me a little?
Remember the
feel weird.
the festival scene.
Yeah, you don't seem like yourself.
Yeah.
You are awesome, bud. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was like a couple days ago.
But
Yeah.
still, thank you.
It was still awesome.
But also, I still don't feel really good.
We also didn't see it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the rat.
Hey, Mrs. F, do you have any ale over there in that
Like
corner?
300 feet away.
Yeah.
It's like 300 feet away.
She is fuming.
We didn't see anything.
Dilura is fuming. She does. Oh crap! I lost my spot. She does grab another axe and throw it at the door again. And then she grabs her hammer and starts going to the forge and starts stress forging.
Oh, yeah. Sofka. Flip you a silver coin. I made a bet with myself that somebody would take a swing at him. Apparently, you were the only one with the guts to do it.
I didn't swing at him. I just.
Well, I guess spit counts. I'm counting it in my own head. My head.
It was insulting. It was pretty,
Where is it?
insulting without causing other issues to each other.
Those stone fucking people. And then I just start muttering to myself.
We're going to kill him.
Yes, he has.
But how much of it is his doing versus what he feels he has to do?
That's
I'm gonna think to you though. My big worry is, will his love be with the conclave or against them?
Exactly.
We can ask him.
To find it.
No. Well, yeah, we can. We're talking now.
He doesn't speak for dead. I promise to.
One at a time.
Concentration.
Oh, there.
Nope.
Yeah. I thought one of them was.
Yeah, and
That's why it's at third level.
I also speak Elvish. So.
right. That might.
Yeah, that's
might
why.
have
That's
something-
where I was coming from.
Also,
But it's got to talk to.
I assume that this person hasn't died that long ago.
Right. Could be.
Well,
much
that long
older.
ago to humans, to dwarves, to elves.
Well, that long ago is in probably speaks common.
Yeah.
I mean, even elves don't live forever. So
Do I have speak?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a druid
I
thing.
speak to animals and I speak to plants. I have Skywrite too, so that'll be useful.
The big middle finger.
Yeah.
Falcon just draws some rats in the sky and is like, nice.
Yes. Erratical.
Do you want with a name for your newest one yet?
Crystal with a K.
Oh man, that's gonna be a stripper.
Yeah.
That's what
rat
she keeps
stripper?
telling everyone. She's like, shut up, Sofka.
I'll do what I want.
I'll do what I want. Maybe I will become a stripper. And then I'm like, okay.
Rats don't wear clothes.
Right.
Maybe I will become a rat stripper.
I mean, we are setting up a circus.
You literally just went to
Maybe she could be burlesque.
She's the contortionist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that fun South Park
Maybe some of that can
episode.
help make
Might
that
have
Oh,
been
no. Oh, no.
I think I'm looking.
Now you're changing all your thoughts.
She's deep down, she has a good heart. She's just in the
Heart of gold, you might say.
Just don't catch her outside.
Oh, there it is.
Hi, everyone.
I didn't give you a bead before, did I?
I don't think so.
I was looking for it, and I already had it out. 'Cause I'm an idiot.
Zemdek never told us the. Dude, we didn't know you took the locket, right?
Been a secret.
Yep.
Well, he's too mad to do anything.
Amazing.
He's just becoming a real.
I'm a hoarder.
Can you organize a bag of holding?
It's not really organized. 'Cause you have to,
It's welcome to
You have to know-
and Hoarders.
you have to
Today
know-
We're going to be dealing with the bag of holding of one scepter.
You have to know what you're pulling out.
you need to.
You have to know what you're pulling out, or
Yeah.
you can't pull anything out,
Dang.
or you have to like turn the bag inside out, and you can dump everything out essentially.
So do you ever have to like do that to make sure you know everything that's in there?
That's why I have a list.
I mean, you pretty much just
There's a
inventory
list in
now.
Zemdak's pocket, and he like pulls it out, and he's like, "Yep, that thing."
That's where you do it when you're madly putting stuff back in angrily.
Double check.
Just checking my list.
It's
Crossing. You know.
You could have got rid of that body if you were here.
I think it was probably a good idea that we still hold on to it. I'm glad we
Once
didn't
you're
give it
done doing your spell, I'll connect with you and cast Expedition.
So he's not going to leave my family alone
But
unless we do this thing for him.
you're doing that telepathically so that nobody
Yep.
hears. Anything we can do for your family? Your mom looks really stressed out right now. Just to make it a little bit, because it was scary.
Well,
Something.
I don't think that would help.
He can smell something.
You guys also don't know where this copper ball that I'm holding in my hand came from either. So I went outside and I came back in carrying this thing.
I mean,
I assume you pickpocketed some poor
We
idiot.
really have that's not a weird thing for you to do.
yeah.
Found it in the bag of holding.
To
Forgot
just
about it.
randomly be holding a random piece of copper that you found somewhere.
That's the whole thing. Is I could totally see like him just walking back in with something anytime we're out somewhere and he wanders off.
Right.
I mean,
Samael says hi.
Oh.
you saw Samael again?
I thought he didn't like cities.
Apparently, Emrys is the one that awakened him,
Interesting.
but he doesn't have family, so I kind of adopted him.
Okay.
Like,
I guess I've decided to grow my menagerie of
So now
strange
you have,
creatures
you
that
have
Samael.
two
mimics
mimics and
and
a
and
gelatinous
an ooze.
cube as a part of your
my growing family.
Yeah.
And the metal machine too.
well,
Yeah, but
He doesn't have to be that
I
one.
think to help my mom calm down,
Yeah.
Zemdak has plenty of projects to help.
okay.
She's overstressed foraging.
Yeah.
Yeah, she might be able to make something.
What do I think he is? Threatening my family like that? I'll take his teeth and put it into a sword.
I don't know that would work very well.
Okay.
We have a tooth sword
What is
right here.
logic on me right now?
If you want to work on a tooth,
What?
Actually.
we have a dragon tooth. I'll pull out Eleazar's sword.
I pull out the fang that we still
I just hold up
haven't
my
used.
spear.
Right.
We still have one of the smaller teeth that we haven't used.
For real?
For real.
With dragons or...
Not the real.
Dragons are real.
We
They're very
found
real.
2 dragon skeletons.
I was in one's mouth.
It was dead.
I'm not sure how to take that.
Take it
Oh,
how
and we got this big scale, and I pull out the black
Oh.
scale that I have. Too.
Sorry, we didn't get to this point. Nice to meet you. My name is Zemdak. I've been traveling with Argus.
Aye.
I see the resemblance. And the anger.
Yeah, he's a fucktard.
Smarter now.
Welcome to our home. I wish it were under better circumstances.
So we told you not to trust anybody, and then you trusted somebody.
But he said things that were, the secret, right? I'm assuming.
He said things that no one else but my son would know.
Well, that's
And now you
unfortunate.
understand why. He's very, and this is obviously on all of our families. He has the same thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the reasons why I left Fulmer dead.
I hear you.
Manipulative jerks. Well, I guess we're getting up and going somewhere else then, yeah?
What's the point?
Yeah, I don't think that would probably help you.
He promised he wasn't going to come back.
Yeah, he promised that if we do this, he won't bother you guys again.
Oh, right. And if I took everybody by their promises, then I'd still be alive. And so would you.
Very true. But we have a lot of fun work to do on the forge. We have a lot of gold to smelt and a lot of things that we found along our way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now?
There's also some sort of a party tonight.
Right, for the Dragon Queen
Temple.
temple.
I also have some questions about Kossuth.
Of course.
Your workbench over here. Do you
I'm
mind?
not
if
sure I know what you're talking about.
Oh, they don't know.
Mhm.
I literally had a face-to-face conversation with him. Yes.
He's supposedly
Are you
not
alive?
hiding anymore.
He gave me this.
She's like, gimme.
Has she noticed your hand at all?
Yeah, that's
It's beautiful. Craftsmanship is divine.
Literally.
Makes sense.
Mr. Firebeard, nice to meet you. Mrs. F, do you mind if I use your tools?
You can just call me Delora.
Delora.
Well, I mean, if you want to do this is my personal force. If you want to do work, we should actually go to the workshop.
I mean, I just need a bench.
Yes, there's no work. You should go to the workshop. It's going to get a little cramped in here. If all of you intend to stay, I mean, you're welcome to sleep on the floor.
Did he know about that workshop?
See why he wouldn't.
yeah.
Oh, you want to go to a party?
Have you met me?
Yeah, that's why I asked. Do you want to go to a party?
Probably do that, but a couple of our friends need some help too. So maybe we can kind of kill two birds with one stone with the Raven Queen party.
Yeah.
No.
You're talking about the festival. To celebrate the changing of seasons. When the days get shorter and the nights get longer.
Yeah, the one she dropped all the booze off for earlier.
It's like essentially their version of like a winter solstice.
Yeah.
Of course. Elora, she's like, yes, Mom. I'm right there with you. I'm ready to bash faces in. Like, I love you so much. But son, Ember, what did you get this into?
Yeah, I don't even know.
It's not your fault. I'm not blaming you. I just would wish I had more information.
What do you want to know?
What possessed you to play with a wizard? I guess.
Not a whole thing like that.
That wasn't a lot of playing.
No offense. Don't I assume the way you're dressed.
Yeah, I know the purple kind of gives it away. It's yeah.
I went where Kosu guided me.
Suppose I can't fault you for that. She grabs a cask from under the counter, just bashes it in with her fist, and starts drinking a little bit of it.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Hands it to you.
I asked for an ale a moment ago.
Pass it around.
All right. Do you know anything about something called the Soul Forge Hammer?
Actually,
Zindak, hold on. Take stand.
if I remember correctly, from those that were chosen or to have followers of the primordial fire, the Soulforge hammer is supposed to be some method. It's not actually a hammer, but just some sort of. It's more of representation of something that could refine a soul to be ready for the afterlife or into something, but the stories are very vague, they're poetic. So, how do you know about it?
This is the Soul Forge Hammer.
No.
From Kosu's lips.
It's a little disappointing that it's literal.
I mean,
Worked.
I have brought a soul back to life.
we've touched literal souls because of it, so not that disappointing.
Mine set it on fire.
Well, dare say you've grown up. You look older.
Oh, yeah. I got in a fight with a ghost that aged me.
Didn't I say to be careful? What are you doing getting in fights? You're going to give your poor mama a heart attack.
I mean, it's 10 years and we can fix it eventually.
14.
Fights with ghosts?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Playing with
It's
wizards?
fine. It'll be fine.
I'm here, aren't I?
And what you brought with this?
He keeps every one of us safe, actually. He's usually the voice of reason. Ish.
No, I think I'm
He-
very
he's the voice.
You're gonna stop
He's
it.
the
You're gonna
voice.
come home so I can take care of you.
I mean, he's the one that almost
And what
burned
do you
down
think
the whole
Kossuth gonna
forest.
say about that?
But
Kossuth can bugger the fuck off. You're my son, and you're my responsibility. And he can take his turn.
I'm over 50 years old now. I
You never stop being my baby.
doesn't mean I can't be in control of myself. It's not your responsibility to take care of me. It's your responsibility to love me
Going the right way
and
for a
worry
smack
about me.
bottom.
Oh, please keep going.
Please keep going. Cole's just gonna actually say that. Please keep going.
You see your sister like over in the corner, like laughing at you.
You can't always protect me.
You see Gimrin go like, all right, you're like, all right, honey, calm down now. Everything's gonna be. Don't you tell me to calm down. Okay, that was my fault. Sorry. You're right. Can I get you some more ale? I got plenty. All right. How about a hug? That's fine. Plug it in. And he goes to hug your mom. You do group hug. You just like, she's so hot. She's almost scalding hot. Her like face is all red. She's got the 5 o'clock shadow. She feels like hot sandpaper. And you all go in. She's like, all right. I love you. I want to take care of you, and I miss you as all.
What do you know of the head of the Crystal Brand?
The keeper of the Black Flame.
Yeah, that's where Kossuth told me to talk to next.
She's in Fulmore bed.
What do you know of her?
She's a badass.
I think she's a follower of Kossuth.
Now that you mention it, that tracks make a lot of sense. She's the one that's... The Black Flame cannot be extinguished by, well, mundane means, at least as far as I know. I once sent her a letter to see if I could use her fire for a forge.
I would have too. Understandable.
She mostly uses it to help refine terrazine to spent terrazine so it can be used to be contained and things like that in their special chambers.
Oh, like this stuff.
You blow out. What do you blow out? Spent terrazine? Or
Yeah.
a piece? Do you have a piece of terrazine?
Yeah, we do.
It's terrazine, yeah.
Spent her.
She's like, don't move.
Oh, it's fine. I put it back in the bag.
It's spent. It's fine.
What are you doing carrying terrazine around?
We have active terrazine.
It's fun.
Well, I thought he just.
You see the big guy right there? His heart.
Amber? Boots?
He actually introduced himself as Zemdag.
Oh, Zemdek?
Call me Boots.
Okay. Boots?
Or Gizmo. Or
Gizmo?
little pain in my ass.
He's a Garnet.
Yes. More likely that one.
You may even know his family. He's a Garnet.
Take that out of my house right now.
It's not
It's in
technically
another dimension.
Your house.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're scared of your mom.
No, seriously though.
Scared.
Like someplace I can work.
I can take you to the workshop. Like, you bring in terrazine to us. You know how kind of trouble you could get if anybody found out you were carrying terrazine. Don't ever pull that out in public.
I checked in with one of the Crystal Brand.
Oh, the hell. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. Well, you do understand that's highly regulated and very illegal for you to just be carrying it out.
Kind
The
of.
guy that was just here pulled some out 2 seconds, like 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, but he's a twat.
It's true.
You said he killed lots of people and children?
All of Keradim was infected with an undead plague.
Yeah,
brought on by him.
That was him?
that was him. He was in your house.
I should have fucking killed him.
I mean, I'm kind of glad you didn't, because I think you'd kill my family if you did that, but I appreciate the thought.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pass
And
it.
Cole's family.
Rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cole's family, and probably you. And
Well, I guess we need to relocate all of them then. Yeah.
I don't think it's
I
going to
don't know
help.
how you can relocate without him finding you.
I mean, they're being watched, so
Yeah, and the family's not close by.
if you're that good, go for it. But
She punches the forge real hard. He'd not be able to do something about it.
Here's your hammer back.
Like I said,
Ah!
we have a lot of things we could use your help with.
You were making an eye patch.
Ken?
No, I sent her all the stuff to make one.
Oh, right. Right. Gold's okay, right?
Yeah.
It's a very malleable metal. It's very good, easy to use to work in curves and finer details. It's
Log would definitely rock a
gold-plated, but it's
gold-plated
iron-based,
edge.
gold-plated.
Has a little pouch in the back.
It has a little squeaky compartment that opens up.
Yeah.
That'll work.
It's actually made in a way that it doesn't need a strap. You just kind of conforms to the. I'll need to work on it a little bit better so that all you have to do is just furrow your brow a little bit, and it will stay where it is.
Like a monocle.
I can do that.
Like, yes, a little bit more form-fitting. However. Once you start sweating, it'll get stuck right there.
Okay.
I mean, I can put the strap on it if you like, or I can just, put a little piece of plate and then like drill a hole into your skull and have it attached there.
There have been a few things going in my skull lately that we probably don't need to do that. Go that route.
fingers and fists and
Creatures oh my.
Right. Well, it's at the
Tentacles.
workshop, so since we're having there,
We have tons of gold and silver to smelt.
things that we can't exactly just go spend.
you have ore.
Yeah.
You have tons of gold and silver ore.
You know,
Did you go mining?
the people that you sent out to help us recover some things?
He didn't know about them.
I thought that's you were sent
No,
for the
that was
family.
from someone. That was
That was Tad that he interacted with on that one.
Yes, we have ore to smelt.
Did?
Dad's in trouble.
I didn't know.
Yes, my love. My sweet burning fire. Ember of my eye. Wanna do anything for? Could you meet me in the bedroom for me?
I don't know that we have time for that.
Oh, I think we got plenty of time.
I mean, with your kids in here, it may not be an appropriate.
Roll persuasion check.
18.
Nice.
18! Not bad.
Let's waste my good rolls on fun stuff.
You better thank this lady. You can spare my wrath for one day. Yes, dear.
Do you know how to work with, like, the good metals? Like the ones that you can't
All
just.
metals are good.
No, I mean,
he's talking about.
wink,
Offended
wink.
that you would even say
The kind of stuff you can't just go down to the.
platinum?
Uh,
Copper, gold, silver, platinum,
Mithril.
mithril?
the stuff that starts with an A.
Adamantine?
Yeah. Yes.
You have adamantine?
We're getting it retrieved.
You sent Grogrug to go get adamantine? I love you, my sweet.
I was more talking about stuff that I have that I don't know how to work with, but you're not wrong.
Can't drink.
Oh, you are in so much. Do you know how much heat that could bring on us? Our son asked for a favor. I paid a favor.
I mean, it's worm poop.
I love our son just as much as you do. Lucky you know what the right thing to say. I'm lucky. Right. You have adamantium.
A little bit. I don't know how to work it, is what I'm asking you.
Well, there's a reason why. Probably the only forge that's hot enough or magic enough to work adamantium would be the Great Forge in Thulmore Bed.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Or one of the Urdanir.
What's the name here?
The Black Flame.
Oh,
Or the...
The Black Flame is in Urdanir, yes.
Oh.
One of the deep dwarfs. They are,
Dumathoin's blessed.
yes, Dumathorn's blessed. Many, they have a stigma, unfortunately. Many don't like them for reasons I am not really prescribed to, but...
what's that the fucker that tried to blow us up?
No,
It's the Duragar.
that was a deep dwarf.
You met Duragar?
Have you ever heard of black powder?
She sits down. She's,
You've not heard of the Maitre guy?
my heart can only take so much.
It's been a fun couple of months.
The Matrix!
Yeah, I shot one. It was cool.
You shot!
It's been a fun couple of months.
Well,
We got to die. we got to
Oh, death wish!
I mean,
Yeah, that's why we
I
travel
know.
with him.
Sort though.
Well, why do we?
Here, that happened on the triway. That was.
we're getting it all out at once.
This seems like a bad idea.
We got to jump into his wormhole after he.
You're explaining this, and she's like, she gets up, and she's like hyper. She's like,
Get it all out at
gets up.
once.
She
Get all
grabs
the
like
shock
3
over.
hammers, a sack of coal, some flyers, throws them on her apron, and just starts walking out the door, and just like,
Mom, wait. Here's a
She
shield
doesn't stop.
made of gold.
she just straight up starts walking out. She's headed towards the workshop.
Guys, I think that was too much. We probably should have chilled out.
I mean, we get it all over at once, and then she'll be once she's
It's like
fine.
a plane.
You
If
just
you
rip it off.
feed it all once, it will be nice and huge and then come down. Instead of making it, you feed it gradually over time, and it will just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Twice so we
Versus
didn't
a
almost,
big
like,
flare up
kill your
and then
dad.
it burns.
You hear the door bang in, and she comes back. 1 or 2 of you stay here. I won't leave my family unprotected.
I'll
Good.
say.
And she leaves.
I'll follow her out.
Who else is staying?
We're going to the workshop,
Who
right?
else is staying?
We're going drinking, right?
Yeah, we're going drinking.
We need to get him to not be woohoo anymore.
He's going
Oh, grab him. Let's take him to the temple for drinking.
Okay, I go.
Zemna, come drinking with us.
She's not going to be able to work on the good stuff right now anyway, right? 'Cause
She's so
overly
mad. She's
focused.
going to be making swords for hours. Come drinking.
Yeah,
It'll be
It'll
fun.
be fun.
it will be fun.
You don't want the eye patch?
Well, no, which I mean, she's going to be working on it for a while, so.
She made it already.
Oh, right.
Let's go drinking.
She needs you to get your measurements, like your skull
Ah,
stuff, right?
I mean, I should go out of the town with a fucking gold eye, you know.
You got to dress up a
I'm
little.
going down.
All
I want to
right.
figure out which one I
Fine,
want
let's
with
go
my brain.
get you your eye patch first.
But then we'll go.
Then we'll go have fun. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Get fitted, go to the temple.
Yeah, let's go.
But
Yeah.
get him checked out while we go drinking. Best thing.
I know, and
It's a win-win.
yeah, your head, your
Feeling
little,
kind of weird.
yeah, you haven't been acting your normal self for a couple days now.
Yeah.
Everything okay?
I just feel like I can't cast spells as strong, and I don't know.
Where did you go the other day? You know? Or-
You asked me about blue things.
Didn't you go to the same place you go?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking
Where
because
you go?
Oh, you haven't been around when she's gone on one of her little
my yeah.
trips,
John's. John's.
So I go to
episodes.
yeah, and sometimes if yeah So sometimes I go to this place that it's a completely different world or plane or something, and things can follow and chase me. They're blue, three mouths, bipedal, and they can follow me anywhere. And it's great, even when I get bumped back here.
They can follow you anywhere?
Right, but
We've killed a
it's
few.
more me, I think.
But they won't.
They haven't chased any of us except for her,
Yeah.
Okay.
and we've killed them before. So
And you saw the blue thing before too.
I did. I punched one.
Yeah. So did it match that description?
Yeah.
I am so sorry that I sent you that. I need to figure out how to fix that. Something with the imagery that's not working, but yeah, we'll let's get you checked out, and then just need to talk to somebody more about. Okay.
Are you the one staying behind the house?
I said I would. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's going drinking.
Yep. Yep. It's another time that I had to miss out on the drunken episode.
You are grounded at home, and we get to go drinking, basically.
I mean, once we go to the temple, do you want to switch places?
I'd rather not
Okay.
feed that flame.
Fair enough. You know your mom better than I do.
I mean, did your mom lock down the family for the whole night? Can they not go out to the festival?
You want to test her?
You heard as much as I did.
I think he does. Because he thinks it's
Is
funny.
this Kong thing here, or
No, Conk will follow me.
This is going to be an interesting night of drinking.
So you head out to your respective areas. As the rest leave, and Argus, you stay. Your sister baps you on the shoulder. Do you really think I'm the head bartender of a bar and I don't keep booze on me at all times? She comes
I
out
was
like
hoping
the
we
biggest
still
flask
a few
you've ever
extra,
seen.
like hidden in our spots.
Like she pulled out the biggest flask you've ever seen and go like, top shelf fire water.
It's probably way better than the Gutbuster.
Opens it up.
Speaking of which, I got you this mug, and I'll hand her the mug I got from the Gutbuster.
You still have the one I gave you?
Oh, of course.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's also no longer.
It's got your name engraved on the bottom.
Sure, I put my name on the bottom. I don't think I did.
Is it the one you won? Or no.
It's the one I bought for her as a gift.
Oh, right.
Souvenir.
Oh, she turns it upside down. Oh, sorry.
That fire hit you a little hard.
It's good. Yeah. That's really sweet. It looks like a little cask.
Yeah. And I don't know if the place still exists anymore.
Oh,
Didn't last time we were in there.
that's unfortunate.
So keep very big collector's item there.
Takes a flask, pours some in the drink, pours some in the cup, gives you some. You're still being alive. Oh, you still doing that?
Happens.
It's not great when it's on. It's cold fire water. You don't need to heat it up. I promise.
Tastes better that way.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And that's where we're going to take our break, guys. We'll be back in a couple minutes. If you watch this episodically, head over to the next episode. And don't forget, stay safe out there. Bye.